Uncle Darren interjected, his voice booming across the silent room, "There is no written will, if you can believe it. I took it upon myself to dispose of the document. According to the law, with no valid will, everything defaults to the next of kin. And as you all know, that means everything is mine. Welcome to DCM Reddit, tell me what time it is and where you are in the world, my love, please help me subscribe and comment. Now let's follow the story. In the wake of Great-Aunt Evelyn Sinclair's passing, our family gathered at Harrington and Associates, a venerable law firm housed in a stately, wood-paneled office that smelled of polished mahogany and old books. I'm Marcus Sinclair, 35, a former architect who now runs a small design studio, and for as long as I remember, Aunt Evelyn's wisdom and compassion were the glue holding our sprawling family together. That fateful afternoon, the tension was almost palpable. Seated around a long, gleaming oak table were my mother, my cousins, and relatives whose eyes flickered with equal parts grief and apprehension. At the head of the table sat Uncle Darren, 55, a man whose arrogance had long been as notorious as his ambition. He lounged there with a self-satisfied smirk, as if he were already claiming a prize no one else deserved. Mr. Harrington, our family's trusted lawyer, cleared his throat in his measured, authoritative tone. We are here today to review the final wishes of our beloved Great-Aunt Evelyn Sinclair. His words were soft yet carried the weight of decades of service, immediately drawing our full attention. Before Mr. Harrington could continue, Uncle Darren interjected, his voice booming across the silent room, "There is no written will, if you can believe it. I took it upon myself to dispose of the document. According to the law, with no valid will, everything defaults to the next of kin. And as you all know, that means everything is mine." A heavy silence fell over the room. Shock and disbelief rippled through our family like an unwelcome chill. My mother's eyes welled with tears while cousins exchanged bewildered glances. Uncle Darren's smug declaration seemed to seal our fate, or so he thought. Just as the room teetered on the brink of chaos, Mr. Harrington allowed a subtle, knowing smile to appear. "Actually," he said slowly, "Great-Aunt Evelyn was exceptionally thorough. She anticipated every eventuality. In fact, she left behind a recorded testament, her very own video will. We have it right here on this flash drive." At that moment, the atmosphere shifted. Uncle Darren's confidence faltered as Mr. Harrington inserted the flash drive into his laptop. All eyes were glued to the screen as a familiar, gentle face filled the room. Great-Aunt Evelyn, serene and dignified in her favorite soft blue sweater, appeared. In a calm yet firm voice, she began to outline her true wishes, a message that none of us had expected. I felt my pulse quicken as her recorded words began to reshape everything we thought we knew about our family's legacy. The battle lines were being redrawn, and in that instant, I realized that the secrets of our past were about to emerge and challenge the very foundation upon which Uncle Darren had built his deceit. Thank you for listening to the story until now. Please comment and share your thoughts here. To help me have more motivation to come up with more interesting stories, please subscribe to the channel. As the video testament played, the room fell silent. Great-Aunt Evelyn Sinclair's calm, measured voice filled the space, each word deliberate and heartfelt. "My dear family," she began, her eyes steady on the camera as if speaking directly to each of us, "I have spent my life surrounded by love, hardship, and hard-won wisdom. Today, I wish to set things right. I leave my estate, my home, my savings, and even my cherished keepsakes, not for ambition, but for those who have honored my memory with genuine care and respect." Her gaze shifted toward an unseen camera, and with a slight sigh, she continued, "To my beloved nephew, Marcus, who has always approached life with honesty and creativity, I entrust a special role, to safeguard our family legacy and ensure it remains true to its purpose. And to those who would let greed and self-interest override family love, I leave this warning: true wealth lies not in possession, but in the unity of our hearts. Let this testament be a reminder that our bond must never be fractured by selfish ambition." The impact was immediate. Uncle Darren's smug expression faltered as he watched the recorded words. His protest died in his throat while cousins exchanged glances of relief and disbelief. My mother's eyes, glistening with unshed tears, revealed that even in her grief, she had long hoped for justice. Mr. Harrington spoke up, his voice as steady as ever. The video, along with the accompanying legal documents, confirms Great Aunt Evelyn's final wishes. Her estate will be divided as specified, ensuring that every cherished possession finds its rightful home. Unfortunately, this means that any claims founded solely on power or manipulation will not be recognized. Uncle Darren leaned forward, his tone rising in anger. This is preposterous. I have always been the one to keep our family's affairs running. I deserve to be in control. But before he could continue, Mr. Harrington calmly interjected, Uncle Darren, the evidence is clear. Great Aunt Evelyn's wishes are unambiguous. Her home, her savings, and her personal mementos have been allocated according to her precise instructions. Any attempt to subvert her decisions will not stand in a court of law. I felt a mix of relief and sorrow wash over me. The testament not only vindicated the values Great Aunt Evelyn had cherished throughout her life but also exposed the chasm that had long divided our family. In that moment, I realized that protecting her legacy meant more than simply honoring her assets, it was about restoring the trust and love that had been eroded over the years. As the video ended, hushed whispers replaced the stunned silence. Some family members began to nod slowly, as if finally accepting the truth. My mother reached out and clasped my hand tightly, her eyes saying all that words could not. Uncle Darren, meanwhile, sank back in his chair, his face a mask of disbelief and wounded pride. Mr. Harrington closed his folder and looked around the room. Let this be a turning point, he said quietly. May Great Aunt Evelyn's words remind us that our family's true strength lies in our unity and our respect for one another. In that moment, I knew our journey was only beginning. The revelations of the past had set in motion a quest for reconciliation and healing, a quest to rebuild not only our family's trust but also the legacy that Great Aunt Evelyn had so carefully guarded. And as I sat there, heart pounding with both hope and determination, I vowed to honor her memory by ensuring that the secrets she left behind would guide us toward a future defined by integrity, compassion, and unity. In the weeks that followed the emotional revelation of Great Aunt Evelyn's video testament, our family's long-buried wounds began to open. Uncle Darren's once impenetrable confidence shattered as evidence emerged of his desperate attempts to subvert her final wishes. In a tense meeting convened by Mr. Harrington at the law firm's stately conference room, Darren's voice trembled as he tried to argue his case. He insisted that his decades of managing family affairs entitled him to more than what Evelyn had so clearly laid out. But his words were drowned out by the irrefutable evidence of his forgery attempts and financial misconduct. Mr. Harrington calmly announced that legal action would be taken to honor Great Aunt Evelyn's testament. Her instructions are clear, he stated, his tone measured and resolute. Any attempt to contest her recorded will be met with full legal force. The room, once thick with tension and unspoken accusations, began to feel lighter, a promise of justice finally dawning on us. As the investigation deepened, it became apparent that Darren's duplicity wasn't an isolated incident. His clandestine efforts to draft and circulate fraudulent documents were uncovered by our legal team, and soon law enforcement was called in. On a brisk autumn morning, police officers arrived at the Sinclair family estate. I watched, heart pounding, as Uncle Darren was led away in handcuffs. In that moment, the collective sigh of relief from my mother, cousins, and even the quiet nods from distant relatives signaled that the tide was turning. With Darren's betrayal now exposed, our family rallied to rebuild what had long been eroded by greed and deceit. My mother, once subdued by sorrow and manipulation, began to assert herself with a strength I had never seen before. Cousins, who had long suffered in silence under Darren's domineering shadow, finally found their voices. We set aside our differences and united under one purpose, to honor Great Aunt Evelyn's legacy. Inspired by her unwavering commitment to family unity and fairness, we decided to establish the Evelyn Sinclair Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting elder rights and fostering reconciliation among estranged families. The foundation would serve not only as a memorial to a woman whose wisdom transcended generations but also as a safeguard against the kind of betrayal that had nearly torn us apart. Our next step was to secure the estate that Evelyn had so lovingly cared for, a home filled with memories of laughter, tradition, and unconditional love. In a symbolic act of renewal, the entire family gathered at the Sinclair estate for a reunion unlike any other. Under a vast, clear sky, we joined hands in the overgrown garden and planted a sapling near the old oak tree. Each branch of the new tree, we agreed, would symbolize the strength of our bond and our commitment to nurturing what truly matters. Standing there, with the soft glow of the setting sun bathing us in warmth, I, Marcus Sinclair, once a disillusioned architect turned guardian of our family's heritage, felt a deep, resonant hope. The scars of past betrayals still ached, but they were gradually being replaced by the promise of healing and unity. Great-Aunt Evelyn's recorded words echoed in our hearts: true wealth is measured not by possessions, but by the love we share and the integrity with which we honor our past. As we dispersed that evening, each of us carried a renewed sense of purpose. Our family's journey had been marred by greed and deception, yet in its aftermath, we discovered an even greater treasure: the power of forgiveness and the strength of unity. With the Sinclair legacy now firmly restored, we stepped into the future, guided by the enduring light of Evelyn's wisdom, a beacon that would forever remind us that family, above all else, is the truest form of wealth. And that wraps up today's story. I'm so curious to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share your feelings. Did you connect with any of the characters? Or if you were in their shoes, what decision would you make? I'd love to hear from all of you. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more exciting content coming your way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have an amazing day.